client of mine the other day asked, like, how can I write content quickly for email, for LinkedIn? And that's kind of been a struggle amongst other copywriters or content creators. And it was a really good question, actually, because it got me thinking, how do I piece things together and, get things rolling? One of the best models that I found, since I come from an email first content creation world, is the hub and spoke model. Think of it like you've got this hub where you plant a seed, and then you have other spokesmen that speak about your hub, right? So in the context of any business, let's take an e-commerce store, for example. You've got the e-commerce owner, he's selling creams, and that's the hub. And then the spokesmen, the ambassadors, go out and sell the creams that are then, through their message, they come in and then they get customers who buy the cream. So as simple as that. I don't know if that was a good example. We have the hub and then the spokesman. So the way that I think about it is every day I write an email that comes out naturally, and it can be about any concept. And that email becomes the hub of my content. So for example, today I wrote about using automation to create leverage by having a system dialed in that enables leads to turn to customers, all through a very simple funnel. Now that leverage got me off of sales calls and enables me to actually appreciate my time as I'm using it to invest in other hobbies, in family time, in whatever, etc. It doesn't really matter. But you take that concept of that email being the leverage piece, which is a little bit more longer form. Now we turn it into our spokespeople. So when we use social media like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, even this YouTube video could be the hub, and then the spokespeople from there are the way you repurpose that content. So if we take that leverage email, then we can look at it from different angles and spin up posts that we can schedule in the future. So with the leverage email, I can talk about, let's say in a shorter LinkedIn post, 3 ways to experience permissionless leverage by using automation. And then I'm going to talk about ConvertKit, setting up a funnel, a scheduler maybe, or whatever, and then refer back to the hub, being the leverage email, if I want to get people to read a little bit more about it. I don't even need to reference the email. I can just have a post, 3 ways. Then, let's say that was an advice spokesperson. I can then have a contrarian view in the future about leverage. Like, stop doing this thing if you want to experience leverage. People do things the wrong way. This is how you do things the right way. Still having the hub leverage email at the heart of that idea. Then I can expand and sort of talk about a leveraged system in the future. So it's like, here's how I use a leveraged system in order to get off sales calls, and that's an entirely different post. So we've got an advice post, we've got a contrarian post, we've got a little bit of a framework / systems post. I can then turn the email into a little thread, if I'm using Twitter, or a long form LinkedIn post or Instagram carousel that expands a little bit about that. I can also talk about it from a inspiration angle. So here's how I made 20K using a leveraged funnel that got me off of sales calls, brought 20K in the front end through sales, all while I was running and playing with my dogs, for example. So now we've got 4 content pieces. Another one that I like using is like the past versus the present. So for example, before I used this leverage thing, I was doing 10 hours of calls a day. Ever since I've implemented this leverage system, I'm now making the same amount of money without being on calls. So that was who I used to be in the past, and this is who I am in the present. So all of a sudden, from one piece, we sort of rinsed it from 5 different angles. And now I've got, let's say every Monday, I can talk about this leverage piece. Or if I don't want to do it every Monday, I can spread it out among other weeks or in the future, not to bore the readers. But with this hub and spoke model, I now have almost infinite content to spin out very quickly. So think about that for today.